Okay. Well, y'all, if y'all sitting up listening, y'all working with us, we all want comments, so I ain't rushing for y'all. We just gonna make sure we get it right. So y'all know how I roll. So it's good morning, brothers. So first of all, you Brother Khalil, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you on the call, so I don't need no feedback.
Okay. Okay, I think we got our lighting right. If not, we're gonna roll with this. We'll make a few adjustments along the way. And then another thing that we're gonna do, you all, is periodically we're gonna go to YouTube. We're gonna listen to a little music. We ain't gonna talk about black icons and not listen to the music, because if you don't feel that vibration, it's just, words are powerful, man. But the melodies behind these music, music is a part of the emotion. If you go back to Africa, the first ideas and concept were actually words, and those words were spoken to drum beats. And from those times, we can go back, so many thousands of years and find songs that were written there. But even up to this point, music is such a beautiful equalizer. Even when they say they try to communicate with so-called extraterrestrials, the thing that they do is they bounce sound waves into out into the outer space, or into the galaxy. And with that being the case, one of the things that we must say without question, I know everybody's heard it, we've all talked about it, we lost Prince. Man, hey, a powerful icon. It wasn't that long ago we lost Michael Jackson, James Brown. We keep on going on, PG. Just throw some others in there, but particularly Prince right now. I want to just address that. I grew up listening to Prince. We thought he was a little different, but we dug Prince. He was our man, 100 grand. And it's sad to say that we lost that brother, but the things that he did musically, and especially with me, with Purple Rain, all that was the game changer. When doves cry. But the thing you got to ask about Prince was a very cool cat, not only just for, cool, unique cat, eclectic dude, but, he promoted a lot of the things, not promoted, but gave a lot of money to places like Black Lives Matter and other groups, constantly doing concerts in parks and doing things that normally people would make a lot of money on, but he just did it for the people. And now a lot of people are finding out all the things he did, as a philanthropist, helping people not only in our community, but communities around the world, but particularly promoting Black Lives Matter and getting behind other causes. I remember seeing him on Tavis Smiley's show, and he was talking about the chemtrails, when we saw Dick Gregory, and how it just impacted him so much. And he recalled when he and some of his friends were out playing and the chemtrails would come through, he saw the correlation between, a few minutes later, everybody was fighting. So he began to open his eyes from a consciousness level, but his music was went from everything from every genre of music. And here's a cat who played over 21 instruments, and there's some more to be named. I'm sure Prince could do it. But with that, man, I want to definitely say a Mojah Bob to the spirit of definitely Prince. And beyond that, I want to go back to Michael Jackson. These two cats. I watched the video if you all get a chance. It's called Prince versus Michael Jackson, and it's not adversarial, but it looks of the history of the rise of the two young brothers. And the brother was shooting, finding, unique video clips that nobody had ever seen before. He said he'd been doing it for the last 10 years, and he decided to put a video together. And I got started watching it, and I couldn't stop. And it really was impressed. I didn't know that Prince had went on tour with Rick James. It was a lot of different things that I saw. I didn't know the Jacksons that had a variety show that they had attempted, and I saw some of the clips from it. But I didn't also realize that the Jackson family knew Prince, and that Prince and LaToya were kind of cool, and LaToya did a couple songs for Prince, and Rebe also had some music on her album. And that one night James Brown was performing at the Apollo, and he saw Michael Jackson in the audience. He invited Michael Jackson up on the stage. So Michael Jackson was reluctant, and James Brown done called him 5 times. Prince, he said, "Michael Jackson, you got to come on up here." So found Michael Jackson, he comes on up, makes his way to the stage, and he said, "You got to do something, Mike, do something, Mike." So James Brown jumps out the way, and Michael Jackson started doing this thing, the crowd goes crazy. So right when James Brown get ready to grab the microphone, Michael Jackson grabs him, and he started whispering something in his ear. And James gets to walk off, and Michael pulled him a little more, and he started whispering in his ear. So James Brown goes to the microphone. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that Prince is also in the audience. Prince, come to the front." He called him about 4 or 5 times, and then after a while, you see Prince on the back of his bodyguard comes up and get on stage. So he tells Prince the same thing he tells Michael Jackson, "Do something, Prince." So Prince takes the guitar. So he starts to play the guitar, and he just kind of lost focus for a minute, just took the guitar, laid it down, then took his shirt off. Then grabs the microphone, starts spinning it, and started moving and dancing for a second, then jump off stage. Now the uniqueness of this was this. He said it was the first time in his life he was unprepared. It was the first time in his life, like a deer in headlights, he was challenged. And he said He said that. He said nothing else. He said his bodyguard went. Said he went. His bodyguard said he went home and he cried for hours, and said he would never be caught unprepared like that because he had so much respect for that icon. You know, that kind of speaks a lot to Prince. And I just want to throw that out. Once again, emoji bar to the spirit of Prince, bad brother, gone but not forgotten.
Definitely, Prince Rogers Nelson. You know, we definitely want to. We want to commemorate the life of Prince. We want to celebrate the life of this giant. Me and Prince, we share a common birthday. Me, Prince, and Allen Iverson. And I have dubbed that the day of the small giant. This man is very, very dear to me. He was a major influence on me as a songwriter, mainly songwriter, and he influenced my creativity when it comes to writing songs, and as he did with, you know, a lot of the world. So in that divine pantheon of entertainers, I refer to Marvin Gaye as my musical father. Michael Jackson was my big brother, and Prince was my twisted twin. We're also the same height. So, you know, I want to go back to the topic today is the mysterious and untimely deaths of musical icons gone too soon. And for all of you on the line, if you choose to, and this is an interactive call, so if you choose to join the discussion, then press *6. That will put you into our caller queue, and then you will hear prompts and we will promptly recognize you. Getting back to untimely deaths and the conspiracies and mysteries, the mysterious nature of certain deaths. Let's go back to Jimmie Hendrix, who passed, I believe it was 1970. And they said that Jimmie Hendrix choked on his own vomit. Okay? And, you know...
Well, Michael Jackson said that they killed him.
Well, not only Michael Jackson, the FBI had opened up a dossier on Jimmie Hendrix. Many people don't know that. And based on the fact that he had a tremendous following, he was one of the highest paid musicians at the time in the world. Obviously, when you do rock music, then you transcend the urban genre, and you go into that
crossover,
that pop market. So pop, rock, the Caucasian market. So he was,
even though it's everybody's music,
right?
Make sure you remember that too.
Right. So Mr. Hendrix at one time said that he felt like the Black Panthers should go to DC and shoot the place up. Okay. So that was possibly what put him on the radar of the FBI.
Well, wait. Before we go there, that we jumping too deep without giving you context. We're saying that if they are dying under mysterious causes, let's go ahead and put in perspective as to why. Because generally, the power structure does not allow you to use the platform that they've assisted you to become famous with to lead, guide, or assist your people. That's an unwritten law. And everyone who's tested it has found themselves in conflict, duress, interruption of their careers for a moment until they come back, kiss the ring, and then you back in the game again. And you've seen it many times on how actors, comedians, and particularly musicians will change up because they're under duress. And we make criticism of them, but you don't live in their life. And you don't know what it feels like once you've gotten into that. So Sam Cooke, we'll get into that too. All of them at one time challenged the music industry and understand that many times, the music industry was very much controlled by the mob. And you're talking about trillions of dollars that have been made throughout the music industry. And this music will continue. Catalogs, man, you're talking about worth millions and billions of dollars. So we're talking about money now. And when these people open their mouths to challenge them, therein lies the problem. Like being on a football team, you'd be a little rebellious, they want to trade you. In this particular instance, you get too rebellious, they want to kill you. And I know that seems like, man, that's pretty direct, but when you start looking at Whitney Houston and you just keep on looking at how these, under such mysterious conflict, and how is this, all of them die so young.
Right. Okay. So
The context is there.
Definitely. I'm glad you because I was jumping, like you said, I was going to skip the context. So thank you for laying the foundation. Jimmie Hendrix is alleged to have swallowed some sleeping pills and taken an inordinate or drank an inordinate amount of wine, of red wine. And one of the doctors who was in the emergency room said that the amount of wine that he had drank was consistent not with someone who was actually drinking it, but someone who had had it forced down their throat. There were conflicting stories between the young lady who actually was his girlfriend at the time. She said that she rode to the hospital. She called 911, and she was quoted as saying that she rode to the hospital with Jimmie Hendrix and he was still alive at the time, while the emergency responders said that he was dead on arrival. Now, his and this lady's name is, his girlfriend's name at the time was Monica Danneman, and she later went on to commit suicide in 1996. Now, Jimmie Hendrix,
like most witnesses do. I always remember witnesses end up disappearing when you can corroborate a story that people don't want to come out.
Now, this was long after,
Okay.
but his manager, Mike Jeffrey, who was also alleged to have mob ties, he was one of the. This is another one of the theories that he killed Jimmie Hendrix for royalties and insurance money, as it was stated that he had taken out a huge insurance policy and that he had offshore accounts. So with all of those things put in place, and Jimmie Hendrix, he was 28 years of age. He was a free spirit. He was a rebel. He was one who the FBI at that time, COINTELPRO, they wanted to prevent any subversive acts or action that and keep anyone from garnering a following and being able to use that platform to go against.
Let's go back to what you said in reference to COINTELPRO. That's putting, let's go back to context. You have to understand the environment of what was going on at the time, to why something that they would say could contribute to their demise. COINTELPRO was put into place because the quote-unquote black militant movement was established, the civil rights movement was established, and there was a worldwide movement that was going on at the time. And black men were in such strong, prominent position in pushing that move that musicians who stepped out, it was like, which side are you on? And if you stepped out on the side of the civil rights movement, or you stepped out on the side of the black militant movement, then you were an outcast, and you could possibly lose your life. Where do we find ourselves now? Now it's not COINTELPRO, but now you're talking about Homeland Security. You're talking about terrorism now. You're talking about Black Lives Matter now. So now look at the environment now. People like Prince, who were out speaking and supporting Black Lives Matter, getting on the award show. People don't dig that, not the establishment. So remember the context of where we are right now. And at the time, the music really was our soundtrack. And over the last, I guess we'll say 10 years, we hadn't had a musical soundtrack to what was going on other than chaos. Now it's starting to change a little, with some of these different artists that are coming out. So I'm saying to all these artists that may, check out different things, watch yourself. And be responsible for your own personal life, because one thing that Dr. Nita Fuller said, ain't no cavalry coming, unfortunately.
And as someone who was, they said that he died of a drug overdose and all these things. Jimmie Hendrix, but he had 42 pills in his pocket, which is inconsistent with 42 sleeping pills. He was an insomniac.
And most great superstars, notice the correlation. Michael Jackson had somebody trying to get him to sleep.
Yeah.
All these cats, there are a lot of things that create, that we call them circumstantial side effects. So be aware that as we talk about the icons, so we're not just, showing you a picture of them and just using them as an example. They are a lot of them were freedom fighters. Especially when we come back and talk about Sam Cooke.
I'm glad when you say freedom fighter, Bob Marley.
Man, young man too.
Another one of our.
We're a powerful man.
Another one of our icons. There's mystery surrounding his death.
Big
You
time.
know, so
I mean, they came into his compound, man, and shot him 3 shots, and the man showed up 2 days later and did the concert anyway. Now you're talking about something now. Now that's powerful. You remember? And if y'all go check this out. They came in the compound and tried to kill him, man, shot him 3 times, and he still went on and performed. So he felt like that he had to fight for his people, and I wish and I hope that we would have more artists to exercise art and activism, because let me tell you all something. You all are the vanguard. Griots were artists. And they were their words. That's why they had to tell it in story form. That's why they had to perform it in poetry and in dance. Because people are acclimated to those vibrations. And it's not just the musicians. You got to understand, it's a lot more that goes into it. But let's keep it popping.
Well, hey man, I mean, if so, we really want to wrap the thing up. We want to circle back around to Prince, because there are some other extenuating circumstances and facts, that are consistent with quote unquote conspiracy theories, but it's just the reality. Look at Michael Jackson. Okay, so let's talk about Michael Jackson. We're going to talk about Whitney Houston. I was looking at some information on Whitney Houston, and everybody, I want you guys to just use common sense. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be rusty on my information, but I believe that water boils at what, 212 degrees?
I think so, but no, okay. Look it up.
Look that up, and they say that Whitney Houston drowned in her bathtub. Now, what are the chances of you drowning in your bathtub in 13 inches of water, and your daughter drowning in her bathtub face down 3 years afterward? Now, they stated that the 911 call was made after her body was discovered. It was around 3:40 p.m. One of her handlers had told her, hey, it's, go ahead and go back to your hotel room and get ready for the party this evening. Clive Davis was throwing a party that evening. Now, at approximately 8:30 p.m., they said that the temperature of the water in Whitney Houston's bathtub was 93 degrees. Stop! If you boil some water, I don't care what type of boiling you doing, 6 hours later, is it possible for the water to be 93 degrees?
Well, we know, y'all, for the most part, all that was fraudulent. All that was a narrative that was written so you could have all the mysterious circumstances, so this could be cascaded into conspiracy. And at the end of the day, she's gone, and everybody else gets a whole lot of money. Whitney Houston died a long time ago. Whitney Houston died long before they buried her body. We allowed Whitney Houston to die. We, in our community, told jokes about her. She was the brunt of every joke known. And, we can be just so inhumane to our own people sometimes. And I felt bad, many times for how she was treating people like that was her own decision. But it's never someone's decision to become an addict. And we become so unsympathetic sometimes. And then after that, she loses her daughter. And, this is tragedy on a family. So, we have to look at this, man. The icons have family. And unfortunately, when this happens to those icons, it transfers itself through the family line. And a lot of things that happen, too. If you look at this, too. Where do you leave that money, you all? Prince gone, he didn't have no children. Listen to me. You talking about somebody's empire worth close to $400 million. And not to mention what it's going to be worth now that he's passed away. All the music is going to increase. It's going to get played. Royalties going to come out of those. They say this may be going to the sisters. But guess what? They're already going to court on it now.
Well, the thing is supposedly Prince's sister was an ex-prostitute. And then he had some half-siblings. So what I see happening is his estate being tied up in probate court if he indeed did not have a will. And I see the state basically siphoning away the wealth of his estate, paying or distributing exorbitant amounts of cash in attorney fees.
Right.
And basically at the end of the day, then the family is probably going to be embroiled in this particular situation for years and years and years. In that estate, the money will just dwindle away slow by slow. So if we talk about now, even back to Whitney though, there were bruises and there were actual contusions on Whitney's body at the time of death. Now, they said that there was a spoon with a white crystal substance on it. Most of the reports that I read did not say that the white crystal substance was cocaine. One did, but most of them did not. And finally, when the toxicology report came out, now let's be real, you all. If someone is conspiring to kill you, then that means that they're going to go in and they're going to make sure that the toxicologist, they're going to make sure that the coroner, they're going to make sure that the investigators, they're going to make sure that all of these people are in cahoots with the plan. So you're not going.
No, let's clarify something. Just like military, it's on a need to know basis. So you don't know what I know, and she don't know what he know. The coroner don't know what the police officer know, that the DA knows. So everybody's giving this on a need to know basis. That's the minimum what you call it, MO, if you would. So I could never be complicit with him because he never told the same thing that I'm told. So in their mind, each one of them will tell the individual the truth about what they did, but there's a plan that's bigger than them. So you all have to be able to look. So that's why they make it a conspiracy theory when they do these things. So we have to be mindful of their MO, because it's going to be individual people going to come out and try to cooperate that it didn't happen that way. Whitney Houston was killed.
Yes.
That's what I believe.
Okay, so while there was 13 inches of water in the tub, one of the floors in one of the rooms was the carpet was completely soaking wet. Okay, now how do you show up on the scene where there are abrasions, several abrasions? All of this stuff is public record.
Right.
Several abrasions and contusions on this woman, but there is no sign of foul play. Okay, so I just, some of these things, I at some point we have to delve into this. And how many times are our people going to be snuffed out right before our very eyes for reasons not necessarily known to us? But how many times are we going to buy the same old narrative that it was drugs? Now, one expert did come and say that the amount of cocaine that was found in Whitney Houston's system was not a lethal dosage. So,
But it didn't have to be the cocaine. See, sometimes, they'll give one drug, so that's what we call a distraction drug. So you get preoccupied with that, but something else was used to kill her. So, it's always different strategies that people use, because at the end of the day, she was a commodity. She was a tool used to generate resources. And no actor or no entertainer think that you're bigger than yourself, because they'll switch you tomorrow.
Man, what do you think her catalog is doing now?
Man. And
what do you think?
When they die, they quadruple.
This is one of the greatest voices ever. What do you think her catalog is doing?
Generating big bucks.
Prince has sold 3.5 million records in 1 week. 3.5 million.
And when Michael Jackson passed away, just looking at and the question is, who gets that money?
Where's the money going to?
Even when Tupac then passed and all this that went down with Death Row.
Who owns the publishing?
Hey, they're commodities, you all. It's like it's and you don't want to look at it that way, but it's the same way for you all who are excited right now about the NFL draft. I mean, you don't like to call it, but they telling you what it is. They say your owner. You got black men on TV talking about their owners. And you accept it because it is fashionable and you've been conditioned to accept. That's how powerful this machine really is. And I'm just trying to get you all to understand that we got to speak out against some of these injustices. But you know why it's hard for us to do more than just conversation about it? Because we're surviving. Because we're all caught up in the matrix. And here's the other thing. What entertainment did you know that don't get caught up in dope? They want you on dope. Because that way you ain't focused on your money. And you ain't got to worry about it, because you're going to get you a good lawyer. You're going to get you a good manager. You're going to get a good person. Look. And most of the time, that's why they want to give you their own management. So you really can be controlled.
The income for managers, the residual income for managers is a lifetime income. You know, managers normally have a part of the publishing revenue, so along with the publisher. So the majority of these publishers they're big wigs in the industry. A lot of them are Jewish people. Okay, so let's go back to now, going from Whitney to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson owned half of Sony Publishing. Okay, that catalog has remarkably, after Michael came out, and I'm just gonna say he stated the facts. Some people could say that he was gloating, he was putting it in their faces, and in fact, I believe Michael saw Prince's battle with the music industry, and Mike said, you know, I'm gonna be a little bit more shrewd about how I wage war with the music industry, because Prince basically put it like right in their faces. Prince, you know, he confronted it head on. Mike was more shrewd and crafty, and Mike did it in a manner that before they actually realized that it had happened, he had ended up with half of Sony Publishing. He had all of his albums done and all of the work that he needed to get out of that contract. You know, Mike had his business tight. So,
and here's the other thing about Mike. Also, you all those kids have come back now and refuted the statements now. Now, a couple of them have committed suicide and said they were wrong for what they did to Michael Jackson. So all those people who talked all that stuff about Michael Jackson, including Cat Williams, had to come back and eat crow, because what they have to do is they have to tarnish your name, aka Bill Cosby.
They have to demonize you first.
Don't forget it before you leave here. So when you look at that, man, this is, you know, and then when Michael Jackson went to the Nation of Islam, the Nation of Islam started protecting him. Oh, you know what? You know it's on. You're gonna file a lawsuit and then let the Nation of Islam be the people who are gonna protect you. You know that's insult. Insult to injury. So all I'm saying to you all is this: under these circumstances, all of you all who are in the entertainment industry, who are headed that way, you got to mark your spots. You got to take care of yourself beyond that industry. And Dave Chappelle made a very good point, and we ran it on our last show. His daddy told him, man, you got to know when to escape. You got to know what your price is. That price, what he means is you got to know when it is time to leave, fight or flight. And when Dave Chappelle got that $50 million, they offered him that. He realized, like he said, when my dad, he said, the ideas came in my head. It's time to go.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of time to go, we're going to go to a quick break. Before we do, we want to remind everybody to support Reclaiming the Village. ReclaimingTheVillage.org. Please go there and make a generous donation. Liberation, freedom is not free. Also, support us on Periscope. Support us at Mr. Amin Rashidi at Periscope.com. Like our Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and if you are on the line and you would like to make a comment, a reminder is press *6. That'll put you in the caller queue, and then we will recognize you. Listen to the prompts and we'll recognize you. We'll be back with Brother to Brother with Imam Rashidi.
It's your man Khalil Rashid of the Griot Nation. We're asking you to tune in and tune up every Wednesday at 12 o'clock.
On both of them.
Brother to Brother with Imam Rashid.
Let's see.
Come together as men to discuss the important issues that need to be addressed within our community. Now let us be clear. The women are invited as well. We already know that no nation rises higher than its woman. So dial in to holler at your man Imam Rashid at 605-562-3140. Access code 389-254#. Once again, that's 605-562-3140. Access code 389-254#. Every Wednesday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Brother to Brother with Imam Rashid. Now, back to the creation with Imam Rashid and Untimely. It's about light, love, liberation. I'm a Rashid with the Griot Nation. Griot Nation. Light, love, liberation. I'm a Rashid with the Griot Nation. Light, love, liberation.
There it is, Griot Nation. Black to the building, black to the feeling, and black to the healing. And welcome back to Brother with your man, I'm Rashid and PG-13. Hey, y'all, it's been a beautiful day. Thank you all for tuning in. We love y'all. We appreciate you all. I ain't been able to read some of the things y'all been saying on Periscope over here. I know we got YouTube and Periscope going on at the same time. Check us out on 93.7 WBLK, you all, in Buffalo, New York on Sundays. As a matter of fact, check us out at Hot 99.1 in Albany, New York on Sunday mornings. So, and we are moving, y'all. It's about life, love, and liberation. And this is just a continuation. This is just one of the branches of the trees of the Griot Nation. And there's so many other things that are going to happen. So, and we need our own media. And our own media will give us an opportunity to discuss issues like this. And we don't have to lay it out the way the typical media does. We do it like brothers do it with brothers. We sit down, we have that conversation, and we learn from each other. And before you know it, somebody else wants to get into the conversation. With that being said, hey, you all, it's brother to brother. It's not just me and PG-13. Call, chime in, give us your opinion. We would love to hear what you have to say. We'll sit back, listen, and give our contribution.
Hey, I want to shout out to Brother Damon Fields at Sankofa Global.
I'm feeling that shirt.
You know,
this
this is where I got this. The red, the black, and the green. And I want to shout out to my other brother, Antoine Black, with the hat, greater than but not equal to.
We saw him at the Carter High.
Yeah, the Carter High premiere.
Yeah.
So back to the business. So remarkably now, after Michael Jackson's death, his catalog has been returned to Sony. And part of the conditions of Sony even bidding for the catalog is that they would control the entire stake. Not 85%. They weren't looking for anybody to come in and buy. You can't own 15%, or they won't be able to retain 5% of it. Part of the condition of the buyout was that they get it back, 100%. So how does that go under radar? I mean, how does that go under radar when the conspiracy and everybody is saying, hey, something's not right about Mike's death? I mean, Mike was, Mike was in good health. Listen, you're not with the type of energy that is necessary for people like Michael Jackson and Prince. These guys know, they know, okay, I'm gonna reach a level of physical exhaustion based on the nature of my performance. This is something that these men have been doing for 25, 35 years. So they already know what their level of conditioning and health has to be. So they're not going out there like they said. Prince had caught the flu, and then then they said he was dying. I mean, man, they got all kind of stuff out here that can just take you out, and it can be a delayed effect. And yeah, we are throwing a whole lot of conspiracies around, but look, we won't be able to get to the facts. We will not be able to get to the facts of the matter. So everything that we say and everything that anyone says from here on out will be conjecture, because the people who are part of the conspiracy are also the people who control and own the media. So they're not going to come out and tell you the damn truth. You got to be able to connect the dots.
Well, and beyond that too, you got to become compassionate. We get so caught up many times in the conspiracy and the issue that we forget it's a human being. You forgot how you felt about Marvin Gaye's music. You forgot he really had a family. The conspiracy shit gets so caught up into it that we forecast them aside damn near like the industry does. And no longer do we really can appreciate that music. I know that's not as a whole how we feel, because look at how many people now are buying the music, listening to the music. They're doing Purple Rain parties all over the world. So now we really understand the impact that they have. I just think many times after we lose our icons too, we should have some level of commemoration. I mean, showcases. People go out and do certain things. I see people got little candlelight visuals on all around the country. But I would like to think as an artist myself that, if you pass, someone would appreciate what your contribution really was. And that's one thing I don't want us to lose is, we got to realize too, Prince also had a child. He lost a child. And a lot of the things that are talked about now is just a lot of the things that he accomplished as far as the industry is concerned. But the dude went through a whole lot. And dude had some serious issues. Purple Rain was based loosely off his life and some of the things that he faced. So Prince had a lot of demons in the closet, same as Michael Jackson. Can you imagine if we say this thing is so demonic for these cats to be raised up in that? Prince was 15 years old, man, putting together full albums, playing all the instruments. 15. You understand what I'm saying? So that means that they realize that you are a commodity. So they ain't gonna let you just do what you want to do. So you got to realize with that same attitude, it's the same way when it comes to when you say black icons. I'm not just thinking music. I'm talking about sports and everything. And remember now, on these playgrounds out here now, those are nothing but mouse traps for our children. Basketball courts, football fields, those are mouse traps. And every time I go out and I see a child that's playing, I don't see a little nigga that's out there hustling. I see somebody out there that's on his grind because he believes that's how he's going to make it. Nobody appreciates the fact until he actually gets in there. And then you give them a whole bunch of money, and then you want to talk about them when they act crazy because they never have a chance to mature. They were too busy on the gridiron. So I just said that because I know that we're going to have another draft. I would call it a slave ship, but we're going to have another draft.
A slave auction. Right. I mean, hey, and we cannot
take that in the spirit in which I give it, because in the context by how you're treated many times, it's just like that you are.
Listen, I wanna thank the people who are on the phone, who are on the line listening. When we send out the text blast, please forward that. You know, this is independent black media. You know, and you're not going to be able to. We will not be able to sustain ourselves without a voice. We need to be able to communicate. We need to have a platform, and you know, before they close the platform down, we need to galvanize as many people as we possibly can. You know, I like I said, once again, we appreciate the people who are listening. We appreciate the supporters, but we want our supporters to also spread the word. Yeah. Share this on Facebook. Share the link. Share the links that we post. We need to grow this operation. It is vital. It is
reclaimingthevillage.org. That's what it is. Go to reclaimingthevillage.
It's vital for our survival as a people, because you know, we're talking about black icons, but the reality of the matter is,
there's a camera right there on Periscope. There's a camera right there on YouTube. There are lights behind you. There's got to be technical writers to put things in place. We got to come up with topics. We got to go in the community and make sure it happens. We got to make sure the shows come up every Tuesday so they can be broadcast in New York. We got to make sure we got shows that's going to be coming on in Phoenix. We got to make sure the shows are coming on in Albany and the ones that are going on in the UK. And on top of that, actually be in the community with school-based social intervention. And every time we're out, we're engaging someone every time we go, because this is a part of our life. It's not just a part of our work. This is the platform by which we get it out. So we're soliciting artists, and we play artists, and you all know it, that would have never been played on a commercial platform. You go somewhere else and request your music, they'll look at you and laugh at you. And we don't expect it to have to be perfect, but it has to be your best foot forward as we go forward. And guess what? When you support us, we in return support you. You get our viewers and we get yours. Now we become a market. We become a network. We become a force to be reckoned with. With that being the case, to the Brumfields, I'm welcoming you guys on board. I'm enjoying that. I appreciate you all want to be a part of our family, because guess what? We are all one world family. To Damon, to the Sankofa Talks. Hey, big ups. BG was there. And man, it was the bomb.
Excellent
man.
job.
You gotta give us kind of view of what happened.
Yeah, man. It was an excellent job. Dr. Baruti, Professor Smalls, Professor Griff, and David Banner. Shout out to all you brothers. All of them were exceptional. Check these brothers' works out on YouTube. Support them. I cannot wait until the DVD is available. That brother David Banner, you know, David Banner is what I would love to see all hip-hop artists evolve into. This brother, you know, is unapologetically black. This man is putting his life on the line. Go and peep some of the things. In fact, right before the brother took the stage, he got a death threat. You know, that's how serious this is. So you're saying, why would David? Goddamn, look, this is where we at. So if David Banner came out and said, I just got another death threat, okay, where is he on the scale of people, legends like Michael Jackson? You know, we had a show, another show that we did, and we were talking about the task, the daunting task of black men transferring generational wealth. And as you can see right now, they've demonized and have all but destroyed Bill Cosby, because this man is in the twilight of his life, and that wealth is going to be.
His son is dead and was killed.
His son was killed, but that wealth is going to be transferred. When you don't have an heir, when you don't have an heir to the throne, but your heart is with your people, where does that wealth go? Does it go to movements like Black Lives Matter?
No.
Does it go to movements like the Griot Nation? Does it go to movements like Jim Brown's organization? You know, where does that money go if you are, you know, you can will that money to whomever or establish your trust.
Or if you don't have a will.
And if you don't have one,
you're going to see what's going to happen
then your money ends up in probate.
But back to what you said about David Banner. David Banner is one artist. The other artist that I would say has made a fantastic, my God, would be Dead Prez.
Oh, Dead Prez, they're my boys. That's my workout juice right there. All day, every day. When it's time to work out, is Dead Prez. Walk like a warrior.
And then it's I wanted you to just a call up in the UK, AKS, and some of these people you don't know, but they deserve their props just because you don't see them on a big giant commercial platform. Thank you, brothers. Kadir Latif.
Yeah. Hey, that boy. Hey, man, that dude there, Kadir.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get the name, the spelling right. QUADIRLATEEF. Go to KadirLatif.com. This is a 400-pound, 6'8" monster. The dude is spitting.
His mind is bigger than his body.
Hot fire,
his
man.
wife, Miss Denora. I don't know. It's Dre Denora. If I got it wrong,
Drea Denora, I believe.
Boy, she's one of the most beautiful vocalists I've ever heard. We have beautiful talent, and people who commit that talent to our life and to our love and to our liberation. And we want to thank you all. And though we get animated, you know, we appreciate you.
And I gotta say Zaima, his sister, man.
Well, Zaima, and not to mention Zadok, the God hopping.
Zadok! Indeed, that dude is out. And we got something that we did with Zadok called Baby Lay.
Yeah.
It was a tribute. It is a tribute to Amon's daughter.
Yeah.
And man, when I tell you, that is a beautiful song. I'm on the song. When I heard the song, I mean, hey,
Unseen.
Listen, man,
Zadok,
Unseen, Zadok. Listen, man, that is going to be one for the ages. If you have a daughter, then that song is for you.
Yeah, graduation time. If you all realize graduation, marriages, and funerals, we always show up. That is the general gathering for us as a people. Because you know what it is? It's a commemoration. It's a commemoration of a past, and it's a commemoration of going to another stage or another level. In Africa, we had 7 stages of manhood, and that 7th stage was called the KRAST, the Christ stage. And many times, our brothers get lost because we don't have a blueprint for manhood. And many times, we don't have that drum circle by which we are protected and we're flanked. When Michael Jackson got in trouble, guess what? You know, it may have been a day late and $1 short to get the support of the Nation of Islam. What we need to do is see where people have these levels of support when they come out the blocks. Kendrick Lamar, man, I want to big up to that young brother.
Shout out, young man.
You are doing, brother. Thank you, brother, for what you're doing. Thank
Bumpton
you.
In the house. I'll be in LA this
That's
weekend.
Right.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna stroll through Bumpton. Hopefully, I can, holler at him or Suge Knight if Suge is out of jail. But
Oh man, talking about a fall from grace, boy. Suge Knight was big bad.
Hey man, but I'm going against the grain. You know, everybody makes mistakes, but there's a
where's Suge now? What's going on with Suge now?
I'm not sure. I think Suge. I'm not sure if he's out of jail. But there is a clip on YouTube. See, this is the thing about Suge Knight. Now, I'm not gonna say that he did everything right. That's obvious.
We know he
None of us do. None of us do. However, we all have the opportunity to grow. That's why, like right now, there are a lot of young artists out there, and I won't mention them by name, but some of them are goofy, clowns, got trash music. I'm not going to mention any names, but I mean, that's my opinion. I'm not because if I mention some names, then we might end up with a physical altercation.
Don't mention
because
keep on saying.
so I'm going to give you the respect by not mentioning your name. Because if you approach me, then it can be on. You know, win, lose, or draw. So I'm not gonna call your name and then somewhere you catch me and you got some angst on your chest about, you know, club, all that kind of stuff right there. That's what I'm saying. We don't. So I'm not gonna mention your name, but a lot of y'all got trash music. Now, going back to Suge Knight, because we've already given acknowledgments to some of the artists. What's my man, Immortal Technique? We gotta shout him out.
Let me say something about
Black Thought.
You gotta pause for a minute on the real when you start talking about Immortal Technique. That dude is wow.
He's on point.
And wait a minute, and Locksmith? Oh my
Oh
God.
yes, indeed.
It's hard to get started on this because when you do, you feel bad because you left somebody out that you be really digging. But you know what? We do a Music Matters set on 93.7 WBLK and Hot 991. Once again, you go out and check us out. You know, at Griot Nation on the Conscious Corner, the Corey Dixon Healing Experience, Rapidemics. This is all one world family. And big ups to Bermuda. I said I was going to give you cats a shout out. Some of you supposed to be calling in. I don't see no numbers from Bermuda yet, so I'm going to expect you still be calling in. But with that, man, some of you all who are on the line, let's get your opinion. You know, let's get y'all the voice in. Let us know what's going on, how you feel. I want to say one thing, too. I was checking this out. PG came in. Look, Shaq, you know, I'm a Shaq fan. But check this out.
Love you, Shaq.
He said that him and Charles Barkley on the show, he said every time the gorillas would see him, you know, they would act all strange. So anyway, he won't come up with a gorilla dance. So I forgot what they call it. I think it's the gorilla dance. He go out and he acts like a gorilla. You know, Shaq, you my boy. Look here, but don't play it to the stereotype.
Come on, Shaq. Stop it.
Enough said, man. Keep doing your thing, Shaq, but
Hey.
Don't do that one.
Listen, a couple of things, man. I want to say this. Suge Knight. There was a clip circulating on YouTube, and you could still see it, where there was a community event, and you had Suge, Pac, Snoop, the Dog Pound, all of these guys were coming.
It was a voters registration rally. I remember.
Yeah, they came out. There you go. They came out, voter registration. So right there in itself, you know, Pac had talked about all of his, basically transferring all of his record sales or converting his record sales into votes. That is a very revolutionary and dangerous idea, because you're talking about a man who went 5 times platinum. So if you're looking at that and you're looking at the influence of Pac and Snoop and the Dog Pound and Death Row and the money and the influence, okay, the orientation is there. You know, now we're going down another road. We're not going down the murder, you know, murder is the case road. Now we're going down the road of economic empowerment. So shortly thereafter, you know, comes, you know, Suge Knight's fall from grace. So I just want to put that on the record because, you know, people, you know, look at Suge as a bully, as somebody who did a lot of this, that. But a lot of people who were in his camp speak very positively about some of the things that this man did.
There's a bully platform they always want to have in our music. So you have Suge Knight as a bully, then you'll have 50 Cent as a bully, and Kessler. You know, just keep on looking. You'll find them. As we go with Griot Nation, we'll give you those, you know, those little tune-in factors that you can see that's a part of this. We're not confused that you're going to be subliminally seduced into it. The topics are always interesting. And one thing I learned from my scene when we always have a talk, you know, a lie is intriguing because it always has a little truth in it. You know what I'm saying? So that little truth keeps you in there. And the dialogue keeps you empowered because this is the thing that you can control. But we got to stop talking about it and not being able to have the power to engage it. But if we don't have some type of circle or network or organization, we couldn't help but Michael Jackson or ourselves.
That's right.
And that's why we tell you to go to reclaimingthevillage.org. This is not just a joke. We've been doing this for 30 years. School-based social intervention. Nominated for an NAACP Image Award. Not only that, winning the Essence Award in 2003. I mean, out there putting the work in, and this hasn't changed.
Privet. Excuse me, somebody from Russia's on the line. You know,
and let me
they
add
said
this
Privet, so I want to say Здравствуйте. Pozvani. I'm saying hi, call in. Listen.
Wait a minute, before you go there, you was talking about Suge Knight and the voters registration. There was a big conflict between Suge and C. Lois Tucker. It was really more with Suge than it was Tupac, but Tupac was the biggest artist at the time. C. Lois Tucker, who played a prominent role in the movement at that time, had a conflict with Tupac. But he later on really appreciated her for pushing him because he became aware. And that shows the growth as he was going forward. And I think that's what we got to realize too. We got to watch these artists as they mature. Puka Leroy, don't know much about him. Never
P. Lee,
have much
that's
about
my
his
boy,
music.
man.
But
Love
the
him
first
to
thing
death.
that I ever heard on him was this song. What was it called?
Rap. Stay up out them streets, get in that booth and rap.
Well, I don't know
rap your
any of
ass
his
off.
other music, or if I would have went to purchase that music. But I know when I went to hear that song, to me that's kind of an anthem on the streets. And then we got to be able to meet our brothers where they are, because most of the kids I work with were juveniles. They were in gang, they were killers, they were OGs. So this is my audience. Don't get it twisted. We're talking about the level of consciousness.
And that was the point that I was getting at.
Yeah.
You know, when I was saying there's a lot of trash music and this,
Right.
that. We meet you where you are.
Right.
So the reason I'm not calling your names out is because, you know, we all have to grow. So giving you an opportunity to grow. All of these artists, because you're all gods, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So, you know, it depends on how well you want to cultivate yourself, what you want to allow in. You know, if you allow, you know, certain things to penetrate your ear, then that mind is going to start spinning.
Right.
And then you're going to evolve and you will be, you know, like some of these, I won't say like them, but your light will shine just as bright and brilliant under the sun as anybody else's.
Let's say this too, you all, about these icons. Be careful, because these are the examples. This is what our children look to. You know, whoever controls the minds of your children control the destiny of your race. And our children are not looking primarily to parents anymore. And that's not a blame on the parents. That's a responsibility of everybody. But the number one motivator for today's youth is media and social media. It is the number one motivator, regardless of whether you like it or not. So whether you think that's impacting them or not, I'm letting you know that it is. And your justification that I'm just trying to make some paper and everybody doing it is you have to answer to a God somewhere. And you already see somebody big as Bill Cosby, they'll get him entangled up. You just a small little piece. And everybody by now, look at what happened to Michael Jackson. Listen, man, people were passing out when this dude when he walked past and they saw him.
That's the energy.
That's how
man.
powerful that machine
that's
is.
Energy
but that
right
same
there.
machine that made him a God-like image is the same machine that made him a pedophile.
You know what? And listen.
Be careful with this stuff, y'all.
Going back to Prince, because there is another part of this that we'd be remiss if we did not point out. First of all, on his publishing, in his catalog, Prince entered into a deal with Sony upon the expiration date. The life of a copyright is 35 years. So upon the expiration year of his copyright, that's when he went back to the table. I'm sorry, not Sony, with Warner Brothers. That was when he went back to the table, and they struck a new deal. Okay, now the specifics of the deal are very vague, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be money made on both sides of the table. Okay, that's one thing I want to point out. There will be money made on both sides of the table in life or death. Okay? Now, another thing that Prince did, if you've ever gone to YouTube, if you've ever gone to any of these streaming services, you are hard pressed to be able to get some of Prince's music. That is because, and I was pissed off being a Prince fan, you know, because these mediums such as YouTube have pretty much spoiled the consumer, and they just give you access to everything. If one night I want to listen to some Howard Hewitt, I just go right to YouTube. I want to listen to some Luther, I just go right to YouTube. But Prince had his business so tight that you could not just go and get his intellectual property for free. He was very meticulous about how his image was to be displayed. You know, I don't care if he had the pants with the booty cheeks out. You know, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to display that.
He was wrong.
Oh, yeah, he was wrong.
That's
for
just
it. But that's my opinion. But he wanted to be seen in that light. That was his thing. You know.
Him and Rick James with the bikini drawers on, but this is
all of that. But Prince licensed his music to Tidal, Tidal, which is a company that's owned by one of Jay-Z's companies. Now, you had artists like Taylor Swift, Adele, they were basically upset because these streaming services are not paying a generous royalty or a significant royalty. So they were basically allowing people to have access to their catalogs. Now, Tidal, Jay-Z's company, has been going through all kind of hell. They're paying double the royalty. And they're giving the artist a degree of control over how they put their image out there, in their bio, and what information you have access to or whatnot. So Prince felt enough respect that their platform and their operation was respectable enough, whereas he would license his music to them. And you know that pissed off some people. That pissed off some people like YouTube, who Prince was in a war against YouTube, Apple, Spotify, you name it, all of these streaming services. So that's just another reason to be angry at this man, because not only is this man a legend, this man is an elder. And that is the thing that he and Michael Jackson had alike. They were not only legendary, but they were very astute businessmen. In other words, they knew the music industry and the history of the music industry like the back of their hands. They knew where all of the traps were, and they knew where all of the snakes and rats were as well. And also, Prince was about to release a book, a tell-all book. Okay, a tell-all. That's what Prince was about to release. And it was going to be released next year. So if you already have a release date for the book, tell me why the book is not going to be released. Because if you already are looking, and what I'm saying is, you know how when they make a movie, and we've had several movies being made, and the artist dies like halfway through the movie, or before the filming, but they still release that movie. So why are we not still releasing that book?
It will be. It's just a matter of time. It's time and place. There's no way they're going to let that happen and not benefit from it in some capacity. They're no longer afraid of anything that comes out.
Oh, after they redact and edit and black out all of the stuff.
Yeah, okay. Everything now is the new idea is to hide it right in your face. Nobody hides anything. Well, you don't have to go and look real hard for anything now. They hide it right in front of you. And then if everything is predicated on possible conjecture and conspiracy, then it's never real. So you can talk about it, and nobody's ever held accountable for it.
And it'll still create and generate revenue in some form or another.
And people will continue to die. People will continue to be misrepresented, and we'll be continuing to deal with those issues. And it wasn't just black artists. This industry gonna go after all artists. If you start looking at Elvis was a walking addict. And he was just a money machine for them. They just kept him doped up. And there's so many other artists that are just like that. But it goes back to what I was telling you all again. They divide us at this level. They divide us at this matrix level, so we fight among each other. The same way, if y'all notice, the election is going on right now. Big ups also to Brother Khalil Muhammad, to Brother David Muhammad, to Brother Sam Radford, and all the people who helped organize the conference in Buffalo. Thank you all so much. We at Griot Nation enjoy participating with y'all. We thank you all so much. We want y'all to continue that.
Big shout out. Yeah. Big shout out to
and
Buffalo.
Brother Khalil, and I know, brother, you work really hard. Keeping the technology up front, and we appreciate you for that. And with that, the clock on the wall saying that we're getting close to that time. I really was wanting a few other brothers to call and chime in, but we appreciate the time you just being on the line.
Hey, yeah, exactly, because we know a lot of you brothers are actually at work, and you're not able to necessarily chime in because you're in an office environment or you got a whole bunch of noise in your background. We definitely appreciate it. And
Rod KP not feeling well out there, Roger. Kirkpatrick.
Get well, brother.
Man, his sermon and all them, man. Get well, Griot Nation. We love you, brother. Keep your head up. I know it's challenging, but you keep your head up. We got you, no doubt. And hey, man, with that too, to all you brothers and sisters who out there have some new businesses coming up. May the 14th, there's an event that's coming up. What's the name of you remember the group? I don't remember.
It's the
May 14th is a Black Pride. I know M1, I guess.
Black
Their friends
Pride,
gonna be there.
yeah, it's the sisters.
Black rally.
It's the sisters. There are some sister soldiers. Let's put it like that. May 14th, we'll be back with the specifics next week. But
and
we
one of our
definitely want to.
correspondent Sydney Walker's doing something also on that day. So we just kind of be looking for some things that's gonna be happening in Griot Nation. We're gonna keep you guys posted of activity that's coming on, that's going on in our community, because we are about the community.
Y'all,
hey,
yeah, we got to get it, y'all.
Yeah.
Independent Black media.
That's right.
Independent Black media. That is our only voice. Nobody, O'Reilly and Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones and all Michael Savage. These people don't give a goddamn about what we going through as a community. They not getting ready to shed no light on no real conspiracies or nothing like that, man.
And we the day after Super Tuesday.
Hey, we got we
And look where Donald Trump is right now. Look where he is right now. All that talk, we had the conversation. Look where he is right now. Y'all try to check out Super Tuesday. Today is the day after Super Tuesday, and look who looming in the doorway. All the people who talked about it now look like they're gonna come to his side. Wow, it's gonna get interesting before it's over, you all.
Oh, listen to Americas. We talking to Americas, okay?
You know what? Too,
we got a new show coming out.
You know, we have. You know, I ran into a couple of. Any place that I go, we get a chance to talk. I think we was over at this spot, the PG Frequency a lot, and another young lady, a young Anglo lady, was having a conversation, and we would start to ask her questions. But probably about close to 60% of a lot of the students that I've spoken with around the country at these universities where I lecture are Anglo, so it's not new to me. And they listen openly and have more of an open mind than most of you all would have. So we got to begin to get you all to have a dialogue with each other. But this is what I want to say to young folks who hit me all the time and like, Mr. Rashid's not a black thing, it's a white thing. If you attack me every 28 hours and a black man is being killed by a white officer every 28 hours, then obviously it is a black thing. So with that, all I'm saying to you is, let's acknowledge that and support that in you. Because if you're a part of the citizenship, and I am too, then you support the causes that affect me, because I support the causes that affect you. When there's an injustice in my community, I expect you to speak out against that injustice. Because when there's an injustice in your community, we expect you to speak out against it and even take up arms and go to war for that. We expect the same level of respect and expectation. And we as the black people, we got to have a level of where we have to have a threshold of insult. Look, come on, I'm going back to Shaq. Come on, there's some things we just got to put in perspective because where we find ourselves. But according to what's going on with the black icons, to all those who passed away, we just say a Mojah Bar, and we appreciate you all. Anything else you got, PG, before we shut this thing down?
No, I have nothing else, man. We done put it all out on the table.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. We've paid our respects
to
our icons. We've shed some
Bar
light
Prince.
on all of those different scenarios. I mean, come on, Michael Jackson and Prince, man.
And don't get it twisted. We know people were going to pass. Don't get it from that standpoint. But it's just surprising someone that you look at who generally had a pretty good diet, you thought took pretty good care of themselves and go along, just to pass. And that's why we ask those questions, because it's always strange circumstances when you are a commodity in the country, and we still are. Still traded on the stock market when it comes to the prison industrial complex. We still have a school to prison pipeline. So to all the artists that are artists and activists, speak out to your other brothers. We need you all. I'm saying this again, we need you all. One other thing I want to say too, to my brother that hit me up not too long ago, he said, you check us out. You Crips in the blood, you say y'all trying to come together and make a change. Hit us up, because I can work with you, with that. You all just sitting down, just talking to each other, not going to change anything. We got to put in some work. And don't miss it. We talking about Black Lives Matter. Ours matter too. There's a war that's still going on, not just on in Detroit, but it's going on in Pleasant Grove here in Dallas. It's going on in West Dallas. It's going on in South Dallas. And we talking about everything around us, but we ain't talked about that. We ain't talking about how we busting the cap on each other every day. These are things that we've been addressing at Griot Nation for 30 years, so this ain't new to us. This is a part of our work every day. So to you young brothers out there and old alike who got beefs with each other, hey man, we need to close ranks. We need to come together as a people. We'll holler black at y'all next week. Peace out.
Peace, love, and light.